Throw away that store-bought salad that has browning lettuce, dressing that lacks freshness, no real protein, bacon bits that contain no bacon, and stale croutons. Oh, and the cheese also looks like powder. This Caesar salad recipe is easy, you can make it at home, you know the ingredients that you're using, and it's absolutely delicious. So let's do this together. The first step is to make the croutons. I'm using some homemade bread here. It was not yet stale, but homemade bread goes bad quite quick, and I knew this wouldn't last for long enough. We had been gone for a couple days, and we would not eat the rest of this bread before it started to mold. So I figured, why not make use of it and turn it into croutons? Making croutons is fairly simple, and they taste so much better than store-bought croutons. It's just a matter of cutting the bread up into little cubes. It doesn't even have to be perfect, as long as it's in smaller bite-sized pieces. Then we need to dry the bread out. You could do this by leaving it on your counter overnight, but I don't have time for that now, and I want the salad ready for dinner time. So I'm just going to put it in the oven at 300. This way it'll slowly get rid of all of the moisture that's within the bread. First, we need to season it though. I'll just add some olive oil. This is about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'll put some salt and some oregano. Another option would be to add some garlic. I don't want to do that though because my kids won't really like it. But if that suits you, go for it. Give it a try and let me know how it turns out. I don't know what it is about bread products and buying them in stores, but there just seems to be such a large list of ingredients when in reality there should be only 4 ingredients in any type of bread product. That's why I really prefer to make these at home, and they end up costing a fraction of the price that they would if I bought them in store. My kids also love them. They eat them kind of like you would eat crackers, and they'll just take little handfuls and munch on the croutons. I'm making sure to evenly distribute all of the salt and the oregano and the oil and that it gets coated nicely. So I'm using my hands to mix it. If you don't want to use your hands, go ahead and use a spatula, a spoon, whatever suits your needs. And then I put it in the oven at 300. The next thing I'll get started with is prepping the chicken. I have used various types of chicken for Caesar salad. Sometimes I'll roast a whole chicken and then pull it apart. This time I decided to go with some chicken breasts. Now, sometimes I find chicken breasts can be a little dry or lack flavor, so I'm going to chop them up and dice them, and that way when I cook them, I'll brown all the sides, and that will really allow me to impart a lot of flavor into the chicken. I also want to make sure to marinate it because, as we know, chicken breasts can get really dry, and I'm going to put just a simple marinade. This tends to be my go-to marinade when I'm in a bit of a rush. So I'm just going to add something fresh like lemon juice. If I didn't have lemons on hand, I would add white vinegar instead, or even apple cider vinegar. Aside from the lemons, I will add some oil. You need a good amount of oil to coat the chicken. And of course, some salt. I always use coarse salt when it's on meat. If it's salt that I'm eating, like something like table salt, I'll use sea salt instead. And if it's salt that I'm cooking with, I tend to use coarse salt. I'm chopping up a couple cloves of garlic here as well. I will marinate the chicken with that. And the last ingredient is oregano, which I'll soon take out. I don't marinate the chicken overnight or anything. You could, that would be even better. But I didn't know what I was making for dinner when I woke up this morning, so I didn't have the time to do that. But I will start it earlier in the morning. That way it gets several hours to sit in this marinade, and it will really tenderize the chicken so that it's nice and juicy later when we cook it. Caesar salad is one of those recipes that really is somewhat of a comfort food. It reminds me of when I was younger and I used to eat this with my mom and my dad and my sister. I was never a huge fan of salad as a kid, so this was one of the few salads that I actually enjoyed. Although we never made it from scratch, and it was normally just a store-bought salad with some chicken on the side. Making it from scratch has really enhanced the flavor, and it ends up being a huge hit in my house. My 2 older girls love it, and my son, who is 2, he tends to just eat the chicken and sometimes dip it in the Caesar dressing, but that's all right. I know it's hard to get a 2-year-old to eat some lettuce leaves. Once I've mixed the chicken all in with that marinade, make sure to get it everywhere so that all of it is uniform and will be nice and tasty later. I will cover it and I will put this in the fridge until I'm ready to cook it later. I will take it out about 20 minutes before I'm ready to cook it, just so it doesn't have that frigid chill from the fridge on it. Make sure to clean up your workspace after dealing with chicken. Now let's try a crouton. They were perfect. I took them out just in time. They were nice and crunchy. They weren't soft and chewy at all. They were also well seasoned. So now it's time for me to transfer them to a mason jar, just somewhere to store them. And this way, if I have some left over, I'll just put a lid on it and put it in the pantry. Fun fact, crouton is actually a French word which comes from the word croûte, which means crust. The next step is to make the salad dressing. There are certain components that I don't use, and this is just to accommodate my family. I have young kids and they don't necessarily like certain ingredients, such as anchovies, which typically you would find in a Caesar salad dressing. So I'm just going to use mayonnaise, lemon, olive oil, garlic, Worcestershire, and salt. This dressing can be used for much more than just Caesar salad. I tend to give my kids this dressing on the side so that they can dip things in it, like chicken or raw vegetables of their choice. Have you ever actually read any of the ingredients on store-bought salad dressings? Sometimes there's words in there I can't even pronounce. There's tons of preservatives. I prefer to make my own salad dressing, and I encourage you to try it as well. Oops, I forgot to mention before, I'm also putting Dijon mustard in this salad dressing. I like to make my salad dressing earlier in the morning so that it has time to sit in the fridge and all the ingredients become married, and I also try it again when we are about to serve the dinner, because that way I can make sure that there's a balance of these ingredients, and if I need to make any adjustments, I can do it then, so we can have the perfect Caesar dressing. I really want to chop the garlic nice and thin for this. We don't want any big chunks of garlic in our salad. And salt is something that I tend to eye. Now we can put the lid on the mason jar, shake it up, and just like that, our dressing is done, and that did not take long at all. Make sure to try it though. I usually just try it from the cap. And at this point, I realize something's off. I forgot one of the ingredients. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Off to go get it. It is some Worcestershire sauce. This sauce is such a tongue-tying name. I sure hope I pronounced it properly. Now with the addition of that last component that I had forgotten, I'm going to shake it up again and give it one last try. And at this point, I believe it is perfect and ready to go chill in the fridge. I'm going to move over to the stove here. And what I really like about this recipe is I don't have to serve everything hot, so I can cook the ingredients in advance. Here I'm just cutting up some bacon, throwing it in a pan. I almost always use cast iron pans to cook with. I like the even heat distribution. And then I'll just get this bacon cooked up so that it's ready for when I need it later. Bacon is something that I prefer to fry. I know some people like to put sheet pans in the oven, but that's just not how I ever made it. I grew up frying it in a pan. While I'm busy waiting for this bacon to fry, it's the perfect time for me to have an iced coffee. It doesn't take long, and make sure you save that bacon grease. It can add a lot of flavor to a future recipe as a substitute for butter or olive oil. I drained some of the bacon into a cup, and then I left some of it in the pan to start frying the chicken in. I have a goal now of cooking all this chicken in 2 shots, but I also don't want to crowd the pan because then it won't brown properly, and browning the chicken really imparts a lot of flavor into it. I always use this meat thermometer to check the temperature of chicken. No one likes overcooked chicken breast, but then undercooked chicken breast can get you very sick. So using a thermometer is a foolproof way to make sure that it is fully cooked, but not overcooked as well. Once it is done, I'll transfer these bits to a bowl and I'll move on to the next batch. Like I said, I'm not concerned about keeping this chicken warm. This chicken really does have a lot of flavor. and my kids can definitely attest to that. My son had woken up from a nap and he was getting very hungry. So he was asking me for a snack at this point, and I figured, well, what better snack is there than some protein? So why not try some chicken? Before I serve it to him, though, I must try it myself. So I make sure to give it a taste test. It's great. It's lemony, it's garlicky, it's salty, and my son would definitely agree with that. I can tell you he kept coming back for more and more chicken. He liked it best when it was warm and just off the stove. I was not about to discourage my toddler from eating a healthy protein, even though it wasn't dinner time yet. The second batch is done. I'll remove it from the pan, and our chicken component is complete. Here's what it looks like. Doesn't it look good? On to washing the lettuce for the salad. I got this salad spinner quickly off of Amazon, and honestly, it's not my favorite. I had a much better salad spinner, but my kids dropped it, and the plastic just completely cracked, and it fell apart. I'll use this one for now, but if anyone knows of a better one, please let me know. I find it also kind of small for the quantity of salad that I tend to make, so I have to do many different batches where I wash it and then I spin it. And it's just a tedious task that if it could be made easier, I'll take it. I have some fresh Parmesan that my mother-in-law gave to me, and I will grate that to top our salad with. I think my kids' favorite part of the salad is adding the fresh Parmesan. I don't know what it is about being able to sprinkle it on top that they all enjoy. Now it's dinner time, so we will build our salad. I already made my kids' plates and my husband's, so now I'm making my own to enjoy. This is when I need to work quick because everyone is sort of asking me for different things, and meals need to get on the table while everyone's hungry. I also don't want to forget any of the components because time and energy went into it. So let's give it a try together. You want to make sure to get a bit of everything in every bite. It's perfect. Like and subscribe for more easy dinners made at home.